Hi, boys and girls. We're continuing on in our reflections book. This time we're going to be working on lesson 5. I know we haven't done lesson 4 yet. We're going to go back to lesson 4 at a different time. But for right now, I'd like you to turn to page 40 in your reflections book, Life in California. You are going to need your chart once again. We're going to finish filling our chart out today. So even though mine is blank, your natural features should be full. Your climate and vegetation should be full. And in today's lesson, you're going to finish filling out this final column in daily life. Follow along as I read aloud. Life in California. Stay on the trail, your sister shouts. We're almost at the top. On this summer day, you and your family are hiking in Yosemite National Park. Now suppose that you are spending a day at Venice Beach instead of at Yosemite. What might you do at the beach? No matter where people live in California or what they do, their lives are affected by their surroundings. Climate, landforms, and natural resources all affect recreation, work, and other human activities in California. Life in the coastal region. Many cities in the coastal region have large populations. Some of these cities, such as San Francisco and Oakland, are close to one another. This creates high population densities in the region. Over time, people in the coastal region have adapted or changed their ways of life to adjust to the high population density. For example, many larger cities have mass transit systems, such as buses or trains. When people use these transportation systems, they help reduce traffic. As in other parts of the state, workers in the coastal region have different kinds of jobs, both in manufacturing and in services. A service is an activity that someone does for others for pay, such as serving a meal in a restaurant. Fishing and timber are important industry in the coastal regions. Near Los Angeles and off the coast near Long Beach, oil production is another important industry. An industry is all the businesses that make one kind of product or provide one kind of service. Many people in the region also work at ports as part of the shipping industry. The Pacific Coast is important for travel and trade as well as recreation. Surfing and swimming are just a few of the activities that people enjoy. Pause the video right here so that you can fill out the information about life in the coastal region. So daily life, what goes on in the coastal region? We remember from a different lesson that half of the population of California live in the coastal regions. A lot happens here. Be sure you add that to your chart. Earthquakes. Suddenly, the ground begins to shake. At first, it shakes only slightly, then it moves a little faster. Dishes in the cupboard rattle. Then, just as suddenly, the shaking ends. Throughout California, but especially in the coastal region, people share a danger: earthquakes. Earthquakes happen when layers of rock deep within Earth move. This movement occurs along faults or cracks in the Earth's surface. Many small earthquakes shake the coastal region each year. Often people do not even feel them, and most buildings and roads are built to survive them. However, strong earthquakes can cause much damage. In recent years, large earthquakes have shaken San Francisco and Los Angeles. A strong earthquake struck Southern California the morning of January 17, 1994. Eric Pearson was asleep when his third-floor Los Angeles apartment came crashing down. All I remember is the walls opening up and then dropping straight down, he said. The floor had opened up about 4 feet. So, boys and girls, we had paused for a minute and we had written about daily life in the coastal region. We're going to want to add something about earthquakes in that same box on your chart, because earthquakes are a part of our life here in the coastal region. Life in the Central Valley. Other than Sacramento and Fresno, there are few large cities in the Central Valley. Instead, flat farm fields stretch across much of the region. The Central Valley's fertile soil makes it California's most important farming area. About 3/5 of the state's farmland lies in this region. Because the Central Valley's climate is dry, farmers there must use irrigation to water their fields. However, the Central Valley has one of the country's longest growing seasons. The weather is warm enough so that the farmers can grow crops about 10 months each year. Central Valley farmers chose crops that grow best in the climate. For example, they grow almonds, walnuts, kiwi fruits, apricots, olives, peaches, melons, and other crops that can handle the warm, dry weather. Other workers prepare these crops for market. Some farmers also raise livestock, such as cattle. The many rivers and lakes in the Central Valley are popular places, especially in summer. In these areas, people enjoy water sports such as swimming, boating, and fishing. The climate of the Central Valley allows people to enjoy these activities almost year round. So, I would like you to now pause and go back. On the previous pages, I forgot to remind you to look at your text features. So be sure you're also looking at those text features. What do the pictures say? What do they tell you about life in that region? So pause, fill out your chart right here for the Central Valley region. Remember, you're just using bullet points. You don't have to do complete sentences. Notice that the next section is titled Life in the Mountain and Desert Regions. So we are going to find out information for both the mountain and the desert regions in this section. So you're going to have to decide as you're writing down what information goes in the mountain box and what goes into the desert box on your chart. Remember again to look at these neat photographs that they have up here, and they have something listed for each one of them, which will also help us learn a little bit about the life in the mountain and the desert regions. Of California's 4 natural regions, the mountain region and the desert region have the lowest population densities. Much of the land is rural. In some places, people live many miles from schools, stores, and hospitals. The mountain region is popular with visitors, however. People spend summers there fishing, hiking, rock climbing, and river rafting. In winter, they enjoy sports such as skiing and snowboarding. They may see bears, wildcats, deer, and mountain sheep. Winter storms bring many feet of snow to the mountain region. Snow can weigh a lot and it can damage buildings. Because of this, many buildings there have steep sloping roofs. These roofs allow snow to slide off. Trees are an important natural resource in the mountain region. Many people there work in the timber industry. They cut down trees to use lumber and for making paper. In both the mountain and the desert regions, minerals are an important resource. Many people work in the mining industry. In the desert region, water is scarce or limited, and summers are hot. People use irrigation to bring water to the cities. In some places, water is used to grow grass for golf courses in the deserts or to supply the needs of large hotels. In other places, people have used water for farmland. Many people who live in the desert region do not try to change their environment. For example, many people do not grow grass in their yards. Instead, they landscape with rocks and with desert plants. Many buildings in the desert region reflect the region's Spanish and Mexican heritage. Some have tile roofs or brightly colored murals. All right, boys and girls, you're going to finish your assignment today by including daily life in the mountain region and in the desert region. So you'll have something in all 4 of these boxes for our activity in Zoom tomorrow. All right, do your best.